promise not to play through. This time we're just gonna play all the collected tapes. So, I'm gonna go downhill to the collectapopos. As you see, I've gotten all 71 ravioli tapes. So, we're gonna go ahead and listen to those. Let's see, I forgot how to do that. There it is. Here we go.
Day 1. My psychiatric evaluator misunderstood the importance of giving me a clean bill of health. I explained that I do not lack a sense of moral responsibility. I simply disagree with his morality, or rather, his mortality. So begins my military career. The chessboard now laid before me, filled with the possibility of ultimate victory. Day 6. I exploited the drill sergeant's proclivity for alcohol to gain entry to the officer training program. When they announced my acceptance in front of the men, I humbly stated that I would not leave them for my own glory. Now, I must complete both boot camp and officer training. Day 19. The other men in my platoon prove worthless and weak. They cower under the burden of heavy packs and lack of sleep. I let no expression betray my own pain and fatigue. The men already jokingly called me General. The government can have their bodies, but I capture their minds and loyalty. Day 27. Private Bonnet, an agreeable soldier, ingratiates himself to me in hopes I drag him with me through the ranks. It is true a right-hand man should start at the bottom with you. This gives the illusion of equality. But Private Bonnet may do better as a sacrificial lamb, should the occasion arise. Day 35. Drill Sergeant Dushku sincerely believes in his own genius, poor fool. His lard-filled corpse chuckles as I grind my teeth down to powder fighting any reaction. His short-sightedness excretes from his pores along with this morning's spiked coffee. Day 45. I lead to Private Bonnet, the drill sergeant's inebriation, in total confidence, of course. It took less than an hour before most of the platoon knew. Their hatred of Dushku built slowly and dangerously. Each punishment doled out to me cements their loyalty. Soon a small spark shall ignite this powder keg. Day 50. I blurted an insult to the red-nosed Dushku as he applied a deserved punishment onto Private Bonnet. He screamed himself hoarse before pitifully retreating to the barracks. I must foot slog until sunset or drop. Each man peered from the barracks window, watching me march, unshaken, adoration in their eyes. Day 60. President-elect Dante inspected the base today, peace spilling from his lips. He lacks the will for strength, his eyes filled with compassion for the meat marching before him. I see his weakness in each wintry breath he takes. I need only a foothold in his inner circle to shape this man as I please. Day 65, time for a tragedy, one that draws President-elect Dante back to the base. My little lamb must canter innocently to the slaughter. I poison his ear tonight. Day 66, Private Bonnet is dead. I shot him in the neck, so no words could be spoken. His vicious attack almost killed Drill Sergeant Dushku. Now, I see guilt and regret in Dushku's eyes as the medics load him into the ambulance. I held his hand firmly, telling him to stay strong. His blood mixed with days. Day 75, boot camp graduation day. The flag morbidly hangs at half-mast. Drill Sergeant Dushku spoke with pride from his wheelchair, citing my bravery in the face of evil. The men cheer my name even now. The first pawn falls. With still patience, I maneuver the board for the next move. Day 115. I selected a position in the Southern Islands, holding command over security of these towns. I push the training of the men. The tip of the spear needs sharpening. Standing over the town of Costa del Porto. Weakness built across a millennia protected by both cliffs and water. One day, I will burn this town, and people will rejoice. Day 250. Patience and focus define the limits of intelligence. Tushku's promotion to Sergeant Major after his unfortunate attack addles his mind. He plays politics quickly and poorly, wagging his tail at the smallest of scraps thrown from the table of important men. Once kicked, I will soothe his injured ego, and he will be reminded of his debt to me. Day 300. My proclivity for swift justice tightens my grip over the men. I balance this with generosity by loosening the purse strings and procuring a budget to build a base in Lake Tutor. Hard labor and clear goals remove power struggles. Men follow orders when their bones ache. My word slowly supersedes any gluttonous mumblings from the capital. Day 350. Porto Sirocco's Brigadier General De Luca whimpered his way into my office. He killed a civilian driving home last night. A shame the lights failed on his route home, which he takes every night like clockwork. I suppose I should write a letter of condolences to my delivery boy's family. Day 485, a promotion. Officially the youngest colonel in the Army's history. I now work directly with Brigadier General De Luca. The ceremony, looking out over Sevilla, maintained proper modesty. The swift but quiet reassignment of De Luca's most loyal associates nears completion. Perhaps my own trusted soldiers might fill those gaps. Day 500. Armed with General De Luca's authority, I decree that all forces in the Southern Islands must pay back the support of the local people by participating in infrastructure building during the extended peacetime. I ensure locals know my name at every opportunity as we pave their roads and build their bridges. Day 750. A picture of General De Luca's car after his unfortunate hit and run received front-page headlines today. Such a shame that this embarrassment happened on the exact same day as the ribbon-cutting ceremony at Laguna del Sol. I humbly accepted the honor and give the speech in his absence. Day 790. A magistrate put forth a vote in the local council to celebrate the Ravello Day. I, of course, declined while sending a message to Sergeant Major Dushku asking for his advice. In a tone of great gravity, he informed me that he would take the matter all the way to President Dante's office. I can taste his ego souring at the idea of another rising up the ranks. Day 792. As predicted, Dushku delivered news of the Ravello Day to the President's office. Dante's thirst for adoration set the gears in motion. He plans a celebration of himself in the small town of Manaia. The people's hatred of the political elite brings the military solution ever closer. Like a mirage, I see a statue in my image, standing majestically in the town square. Day 8:15. The president arrived today for his celebration. A few disobedient citizens protested near the port, cheering my name instead. I personally greeted him at the docks and graciously escorted him on a tour of our recent successes. General DeLuca's recent legal misfortunes still keep him away from public events. Day 8:16. Before boarding his ship to the capital, President Dante personally thanked me and intimated that the mess with DeLuca must be resolved quickly. The president promises to place it at the top of his agenda. Now, I must tread carefully here, yet ensure that it continues to remain a priority. Perhaps another embarrassment for DeLuca will tip the scales fully in my favor. Day 8:60. While I talk on the telephone, DeLuca barges into my office, boiling with rage. He thunders about my inefficacy as a commander, his own superiority, my pathetic pampering of our worthless president. After enduring 2 minutes of his tirade, I calmly hold up a single finger, return to the phone, and assure President Dante that I will call him later. DeLuca's face blooms purple as an eggplant, his fate sealed. Day 9:12. Surrounded by the beautiful countryside, accompanied by just the right amount of pomp and circumstance, President Dante swore me into the position of Brigadier General. Congratulating me, he whispered that I should rely on him. He knows the trials of being young and in power. I look forward to whispering back to him one day. Day 9:13. The languor of the military ends today. Command and control are the foundation of my vision for the world. No more will government paychecks pamper wine-fueled retreats. The men must transform their soft skin to leather hide, their minds to steel traps of resolve, their will consumed by my voice. Today my claws tear into the flesh of this nation. Day 1281. With an unbreakable grip over the southern islands, I turn my focus to the scattered fishing villages in the western islands. The serpentine rock formations provide an ideal defensive structure for building a more advanced military away from the prying eyes of the capital. Day 1315. My meetings with the President's Defense Council proceed flawlessly. Their eyes fill with shame as I dissect their budgets, lifting corruption close enough to the light to dampen any dissent. The weaker representatives need only suffer some small tragedy to place them slithering on their bellies, begging for my leadership. Time to create an enemy. Day 1317. In my predecessor's files, I discovered a contact with the agency, a shadow American organization with their fat little fingers in every pie. As I wait to meet this mysterious figure with his cowboy drawl, my gaze falls upon a perfect plot of land for a future airbase in this region. My need for an enemy seems to have fallen into my lap. Day 1341. I saw disgraced ex-General DeLuca fishing off the pier. What a pitiful sight. The man wastes the precious oxygen of this earth. But I owe it to him to find one more use for his life. That agency man I met might be the key. I need only set the wheels in motion. Day 1349. One can conjure insanity within a subject. It just takes a bit of a sense of humor. The agency contact merely orchestrated some pranks on DeLuca, burning toast in his house while he's away, moving the dock he likes to fish at by a few feet, calling and saying nothing on the phone. Just enough mischief for him to begin to question his senses. Day 1377. After weeks of adjusting DeLuca's perceptions, the psychological cracks widened. He reacted violently to a local constable who received a tip that DeLuca was fishing without a license. When he showed the license, which we replaced with an obvious fake drawn by a child, he flew into a rage. He kept shouting that this was all part of an elaborate conspiracy. Day 1385. Sergeant Major Dushku's role in the plan to create an enemy force within Medici began today. A forged audio message reached Dushku last night, pleading for help, saying that there exists a conspiracy to ruin the sovereignty of Medici. Dushku, in his typical patriotic zeal, immediately made plans to visit former General DeLuca. The seeds of a rebellion take root and need but a little light and water to grow.
Alright, and that's about half of them. So we're going to end it right there. And if you want to hear the rest of it, come and catch the next video. As always, Tory Gold, bitches.